I believe, Hannah, you're going to ground us a little bit here more and
Just
maybe
a
put us
little.
in a
I'm a slightly more normal example, but it's still out there. I've never been to Denmark, so
yeah,
it's
no,
pretty
it's
far away.
literally out there for us at
It's,
Purdue
yeah,
University.
it's
It's
so far.
literally out there.
But Copenhagen is such a cool city, and it's a lot more casually sustainable. It's doing well for itself, but it just is really naturally sustainable. It's not a place where you go and you think, oh, wow, they've modernized this, they've made this so efficient. It's just the natural way the city was built, the natural way the people live are really what make this city so cool and sustainable. So that's why I chose this. It's a natural sustainability. Copenhagen has a special kind of infrastructure, like a lot of European cities do, that is conducive to walking and biking. It's very walkable, bikeable. The sidewalks are not chipped and cracked and barely usable like they are here in a lot of places in America, where public transport or walking and biking is just not what you're expected to do. You're expected to have a car, and that's just a completely different thing over there. A lot of people walk and bike to almost everywhere. All of their friends, family, job, going to the grocery store, going to the doctor, going to buy clothes. All of these things are things you could do in a 20 to 30 minute walk, 10 to 15 minute bike ride, maybe less. It's healthier, less transport, less emissions. It's a key way to get people more sustainable without thinking about it. These people aren't like, oh, look at me, I have no car. This is just how they live. It's the same for us at school. We aren't all actively being like, yes, I use however many less gallons of fuel today because I walked to class. We walk because that's the only option.
Yeah.
It's actually sometimes a better option. You can definitely get around pretty fast on a bike. And on a car, like, you got to stop at every light. You have to stop for the bikers and the pedestrians. It's kind of like a college campus made for the people who are walking and biking. It's not cars. It's not 8-lane highways and huge parking lots, like built-in sustainability. It's easy to make the sustainable choice. The point of Copenhagen I really liked is their walkability, but they also have public transport, like a lot of European cities do that we don't. That's just really strong. Their transport to electric public transport as well. So it's even doubling down on sustainability, which is super cool. Denmark is known for its people buying local produce. Apparently 3 out of 4 homes buy organic food every week.
Wow.
That's 75% of Denmark families buying organic food every single week, which is really cool. So obviously Denmark includes Copenhagen, so assuming it's the same, 3 out of 4 people in Copenhagen are buying organic food every week, which means they have access to organic food. That's the first part about being able to buy it. It's around you. That's not always an option in America. So it's really cool. They have that option to buy local organic produce. Farmers markets and outdoor stands are a lot more common compared to giant Walmarts and superstores that have long-term foods, whereas it's there for a day. You have to go that day and buy it, or you don't have the produce. It's just built into their culture. It's built into their community, and it makes it easy to make the sustainable choice. You can just walk 5 minutes down the road and grab a bunch of fresh tomatoes and apples and onions. It's just a lot different experience, and it's way more sustainable, not just people going out of their way to be sustainable. It's just how it is. And that was really the key points that I liked about Copenhagen. It's just their natural built-in sustainability.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's wonderful. And man, what a lot of information we
I
got
know. Oh my
across.
goodness.
Holy moly. Even for us, let's ground back down here.
I'm
Lock back
seated.
in. For one, everybody, let's take a deep breath before we recap what we've done over this series. Now, let's go back to the start. We've explored a lot of different things. So let's start back from the top. The theme we explored throughout this entire thing, sustainable communities. The guiding question, what does a sustainable community look like? We've got a lot of information to better answer that now. We started off looking at sustainability from a local lens, looking at things like LEED certified buildings on Purdue's campus, the Master Gardener Association of Tippecanoe County, the Go Greener Commission and all the wonderful things they're doing with food waste and just spreading sustainability in our West Lafayette area. And then we got into a little bit of a discussion about what are the steps to actually achieving a sustainable community. And we focused that whole thing around the 3 pillars of sustainability that include economics, environment, and society. And then we talked about how those intertwine and connect within one another, but also how they function within themselves. And what we've done now is dive into some case studies and some real world examples of communities, some extreme, some not so extreme, about what they're doing within themselves and within their community to create sustainability. And with all that being said, we're back here to this guiding question of what does a sustainable community look like? Hannah, what do you think we've picked up along the way?
I think one thing we could say, and we've said it a million times, it can look like so many different things, and it can be in every aspect of everything. That's why it's become 3 episodes, because it's so broad and it's just so inclusive. But I think that's a really key point, is a sustainable community can look like a lot of things. But I think we know that it has to take into account our society, our environment, and our economical things. And these all have to be interconnected. We need to see them not as separate beings, but as a whole. And I think that's where we're really going to see sustainable communities is holistic. Being holistic and sustainable are so close, because when you're looking at everything, you're probably being sustainable.
Yeah, no, I would agree wholeheartedly. I think that's a huge part of it. And it brings the importance of thinking a little bit bigger than just yourself.
Definitely.
Thinking at a deeper level that involves the impact that I have on the others around me, the impact that I have on the spaces around me, the impact that I have on the businesses around me, or as a business owner, the impact that I am putting into the world through my production. We got to transition into a more holistic way of viewing our communities. Nothing is really working separately from any one thing. And that contributes to why it can be complex and hard to answer. We're talking about a lot of newer ideas, but especially in recent times, they're starting to get driven into the mainstream.
Definitely.
And we're starting to see sustainable, pretty much anything you can think of. It's crazy to think you're just going to change the world tomorrow. So that's why thinking about it at a community level is so important, because there's so much more change that like you or I could make on Purdue's campus than we could probably make on the scope of the United States.
Yes.
So where do we start? We want to think about sustainability in our community. We want to start to put ourselves in positions where we can bring more of this to life within our community and set good examples for the rest of the world to piggyback off of and create change within themselves.
This podcast is a good start. Hopefully we've educated you guys on some cool sustainability things around here. I mean, anything anybody can do, I think, counts as sustainability. Whatever your niche is, you can find a way to make that niche or that thing more sustainable, more environmentally friendly, or less aggressive to the environment.
Yeah, absolutely. Our goal is to get people thinking about sustainability. What does it look like around me? And what are the steps that I could take to then start to create more sustainability within my life and the way I lead my life? Believe it or not, it does make an impact, because you hear the thing, people are like, man, what's the matter if I do it?
Right.
If everybody had that standpoint, we'd never get anywhere
Exactly.
in life.
It is the exact same thing. If we all do nothing, nothing happens. But if we all just do one thing, then everything happens.
Yeah.
And so I think fighting that mindset is so important. Or even older generations, like, if I'm too old, what does it matter? It does matter.
Yeah.
Those mindsets are really important to fight. And it's good to use positive examples like we did today, like already made sustainable communities, to inspire people instead of scare them. There's a lot of climate fear, and that can be hard to get people motivated.
No, absolutely. I would agree. It brings us back to this quote that we started off this whole thing with: a sustainable development that meets the needs of the present without compromising future generations. That really gives a great idea and start. Really, what does sustainable development look like, and what can that kind of encompass? With that being said, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
I don't think so. I'm just so glad people are hearing this and thinking about sustainability. That's the whole goal.
Yes, absolutely. And like we like to do with most episodes, I'd like to close with the guiding question. So leave it in everybody's brain and something to stew upon and formulate more ideas, because who knows, we could have another podcast exploring this as we continue to learn more, because if we're doing a good job, we're learning day by day.
Definitely.
About things we're interested in, and then sometimes things we're not interested in.
It happens.
At the end of the day, hopefully we're all learning. Thank you very much for exploring this journey of what does a sustainable community look like for us. And I know we've said the word sustainable 15,000 times. For the sake of this podcast, we'll say it one more time. What does a sustainable community look like?